The movie begins in 1940 when the German soldiers were coming to occupy Paris. So, to escape them, people had to leave Paris. Odile also left Paris with her 13-year-old son Philip and 7-year-old daughter Kathy. She was only concerned about her children, and that's why she was not even thinking about helping anyone else. All those refugees managed to travel for 50 kilometers without any trouble. However, suddenly German planes arrived and started bombing, and many people were killed in the plane's attack, while Philip was scared and started trying to escape from there. And at the right time, a boy saved his life. Odile and her children survived the attack while their car was destroyed, and they had to walk the rest of the journey. That stranger boy named Ivan took the three of them to the jungle where they could be safe. And after a while, Odile found out that he had been traveling alone for 18 days. Ivan said that they should travel far from the road through the jungle. Moreover, Odile was not ready to do that. Philip knew that Ivan could help them, so he went to find a place to hide with Ivan. Ivan is a boy who knows how to protect himself. He also knows how to hunt, and because of that, Philip needs his help. And that's why Philip gave him his lost father's watch and started convincing him to stay with them. On the other hand, Odile still did not want to trust Ivan, but she had to spend the night in the jungle. And even though she did not want to stay with him, they had no other way out. She had to stay with Ivan. The next morning, when Odile asked Philip about his father's watch, Philip said that the watch was lost, and Odile insisted on finding the watch. Then Ivan came there and said he had found a house where no one lived. The four of them went to that house. After overcoming many difficulties, Odile managed to get out of the jungle. After going a little further, Ivan and Philip saw something. However, when they got closer, they found out that it was just a soldier's body. Odile was going to that house with Ivan just because she had to make a phone call. But Ivan said that they would all be safe in that house. Odile believed that they should not enter the house of a stranger. While without any hesitation, Ivan climbed the house wall and entered the house through the window. Philip was impressed with Ivan, but Odile did not like his behavior. As soon as Ivan entered the house, he cut the phone line and hid the radio so they could stay completely separated from the outside world. After doing that, he opened the door and Odile started looking for a phone in the house. But despite getting the phone, she could not do anything. Odile started crying, seeing her situation while looking at the things in the house. Gradually, Odile began to understand that it would be right for those children to stay in that house. And that's why she agreed to stay with Ivan for a few days. She wanted to go to the nearby village so that she could use the phone to ask for help from the police. Ivan explained to her that the police could not help them, and that they had thrown all the villagers out of their homes. After a while, when Odile found out that Ivan was not educated, he was embarrassed and went away from the house. The whole night, Philip was worried and waited for Ivan, but when he did not return, Odile somehow calmed Philip. The next day, the three of them set out to find the village, and after a while they reached a house. They found out that Ivan had told the truth and the village houses had been vacated. Odile still did not want to stay. Moreover, she had to hide there because of a German plane. Even though she did not want to, Odile had to return to the same house, and suddenly Ivan returned that night. Ivan had brought some weapons with him, and Odile began to hate even more by seeing the stolen goods in front of her. Suddenly, due to the heat, Ivan fainted. When he regained consciousness the next day, he saw Odile doing the housework. Odile had hidden Ivan's weapons, and even when he asked, she did not tell Ivan anything about the weapons. She was changing the ruins into a house to make her children feel better. Ivan listened to all the news of the outside world on the radio and found out that the war was over. He found a place where animals were kept, so he managed food daily. Slowly, Odile began to trust Ivan, but still she did not return his weapons. She wanted to keep her children from bloodshed, so she told Ivan that if he wanted his family to stay in this house, he would have to stay away from weapons. Philip knew that his mother had not slept for many days, so he tried to talk to Odile, but he could not make Odile feel better. On the other hand, she was starting to like Ivan and was spending time with him, but Philip did not like this childhood. Ivan started asking Philip about his weapons, but he had promised Odile that he would not tell Ivan anything. So for many days he did not say anything despite asking. This is why he argued with Ivan, and Philip returned home crying. Before the war began, Odile was a teacher, so she decided that as long as she was in this house, she would teach Ivan to read and write, while Ivan was not ready for that yet. On the one hand, Odile had started to like Ivan, but Philip had started to hate him. That night, while eating, Ivan and Odile started talking. In the conversation, Ivan told her that he wanted to marry Odile. Ivan found this strange, but when he tried to leave, Ivan stopped him. Ivan said he would do what Odile told him, and Odile started laughing. Days passed and they started living like a family in that house. Soon Odile started teaching Ivan. Later, Odile starts trusting Ivan, so she tells him everything about her past. But when she asked Ivan, he did not tell her anything about his life. One day, two soldiers named George and Robert suddenly left the war and came to that house. They said that the war had been stopped, so they wanted to rest for a while before returning home. Odile wanted to get rid of them both as soon as possible. When Ivan learned about the soldiers, he told Philip that he should not leave his mother alone with them. Ivan said they both wanted to rape Odile, but it was not like that. Both the soldiers just wanted to rest at home. Robert saw Ivan's belongings and realized Ivan was stealing from the corpses. He wanted to meet Ivan once, but Odile said he had gone out for work. When he returned home, he saw Robert talking to Odile. He was still thinking that the two soldiers would do something wrong. So Ivan started stealing from them. He said that they would arrest him and Odile, so it was necessary to kill them. Ivan had decided that he would take the lives of Robert and George. But when Philip tried to stop him, Ivan accidentally injured him. He apologized to Philip and said that he should not trust strangers. Ivan wanted to escape the eyes of the soldiers, so he left the house and went away for a few days. But suddenly he fainted on the way. When Odile did not see Ivan for many hours, she started getting worried. But even after searching, she did not find Ivan. Robert was getting along with Odile and Kathy, but Philip did not like her being at home, so he started misbehaving with her. Odile had told Robert to hide Ivan's truth that Ivan was her elder son, so Robert did not ask him any more questions. Robert could not understand why Odile was hiding from the world and staying in this house. Although the war had been stopped, Odile knew it would not be right to leave this house now, and she wanted to stay with Ivan for a few more days. That night, Robert and Odile started talking to each other about their families, and they felt better than before. Robert wanted to return home as soon as possible, so he waited for the morning. After Robert left, Odile started waiting for Ivan, and when Ivan finally returned, Odile could not keep herself away from him. They both came close to each other, and then Ivan said that he always knew that the war was over, but he wanted Odile to stay with him. He started walking away from the house, and before leaving, he said he would return home as soon as the soldiers left. But the next morning when the soldiers left, some police officers arrested Ivan and came to Odile. Those police officers suspected that Ivan was a thief, because the shirt he was wearing belonged to the owner of the house. Upon questioning, Odile told them that Ivan had saved his family, and that's why they were living in this house with him. After questioning, they arrested Ivan and took him with them, and Odile and her children were thrown out of the house. The three had to live in a camp with the refugees in the nearby village, and after many days, a police officer took Odile with him. After this, he started asking Odile about Ivan. Odile lied that she didn't even know Ivan's name, and then Odile was told that Ivan had hanged himself. Ivan's real name was John Delmas, and he was a child prisoner who had escaped from jail. After hearing all this, Odile was upset. And after hearing about Ivan's death, she was heartbroken. She wanted to see his body. But the police officer said that he had been buried. Odile wanted to hide Ivan's truth from Philip. So, upon asking him, Odile said that Ivan had escaped from jail, and now he has gone very far from here, because no one can stop Ivan from the four walls. With the sorrow of Ivan's death, Odile started living in that camp, where the people living there didn't even know if they would get a chance to return home or not. With that, the movies end here. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe.